all sorts of bots that are here. If you're here, can you just go to the chat room as it is? So let me see. All right, everybody, please just do a quick introduction in the chat room if you don't mind. Edith is here. Williams is here. Who else is here? Quickly, 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 everybody. Make it quick. Thank you, Williams. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you. Thank you, Dela. Mante, good to have you here. Who else is here? Who else is here? Obed, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Who else is here? Who else is here? So that we can do this just in a couple of minutes. All right. Okay. And please share the links with your friends, family, cousins, whoever. Share the links with them. It'll be great to have other people here as it is. Okay, good. So welcome once again. This is our first effective EAT series for this year. This is the first one we're doing this year. So we every month we're going to do something for the remaining part of this year, or at least till November. We have 10 topics that we've lined up that we're going to do all the way to November. So we're going to do 10 different webinars on effective auditing techniques, this year, 2024. And we're starting with the most important one, which is the ISO 9001. I tell people all the time that ISO 9001 is the most important standard that exists. It is the mother or the father of all standards as it is. So that's why we're starting with that. So second Thursday of every month, we're going to try to be consistent with that. We're going to run what we call our effective auditing techniques. And we're going to do this. So we're going to do it for many standards. We have 10 in our view, 10 different standards in our view. And of course, this has been put together by our lovely team of Oyinka that sits here in Nigeria, and Abigail, the beautiful Abigail that sits. Maybe we'll put up a slide later that has got the, both of their beautiful faces, and even Maureen. So they are the ones that have put all these things together, and we're indeed grateful to them. But also make sure that if you've been here or if you're part of this, we will share our audit checklist with you. We will share our free audit checklist with you, and it will help you with your auditing responsibilities thereafter. So once again, thank you very much for being here. I'm Dr. Orlando, and I also work for A4S. And it's our pleasure that all of you have taken out of your very busy schedule to be here today. So thank you very much. All right. So they said some people are in the waiting room. It seems some people are in the waiting room. Please, can you attend to them? Some people are in the waiting room. I've tried to admit all. So Ebenezer, Wisdom, yeah. So please, Marina, please monitor the waiting room. If it says people are there, let's bring them in as quickly as possible. Okay, good. So I've just got a couple of slides. Number one, this standard is very important. So you can see I picked this directly from the ISO website. This standard is extremely important. That's why I got this from directly. So you can see that if you do this, it tells you that, customer confidence, effective complaint resolution, process improvement, which I think is probably the most important portion, and ongoing optimization. This is the most important standard. This standard is more important. This standard is more important than every other kind of standard. More important than 27001, more important than 22301. It's more important than ISO 20000. This is the most important standard, and I think you've done you've done yourself a big favor by being here. So well done. Okay, this is our own philosophy as an organization. This is our philosophy as an organization, and I hope you can see my screen. This is our philosophy as an organization. This is what we can call our own ISO philosophy as an organization. This is our belief system, so to speak, that, number one, 9001 is critical. And I tell people that everything is a process. Everything is a process. And organizations are only as good as their processes. So it's almost like every organization that is represented on this call, all of you must go to do what we call process excellence initiative, process excellence or business process excellence. Every organization must have some kind of initiative that is called your business process excellence initiative. And I've also said here that every well-run organization. So this is our philosophy as an organization, and we stick by this philosophy. We stick by this philosophy. Everything is a process. Everything is a process. Everything is a process. And that's what 9001. In fact, in ISO 9001, it's got a process diagram in there that talks about inputs, activities, and outputs. So this is our philosophy. This is our own philosophy that 9001 is a must-have for organizations. And every organization should continuously have what is called the business process excellence program. Quality here refers to the quality of processes. Looking at the quality of processes that lead to the production of various products and services. And we believe that every organization, every properly run, let me put it this way: every properly run institution should have 9001, because it talks about processes should be governed, executed, measured, monitored, and continually improved. And this talks about all the processes, whether it's the front office processes or the back office processes. This talks about processes generally, right? So that's what this whole thing. And your results as an organization is only as good as the processes. So if you're not a global organization yet, is because your processes are not, some of your processes might not be great. It might be strategy, it might be finance, it might be HR, it might be procurement, it might be admin, it might be product, it might be marketing, whatever. If you're not a global institution and you're not best in class, it is because some process in your organization is broken. So everybody, please take a screenshot here. Take a screenshot, go back to your organization and have these conversations. Go back to your own organizations and push this agenda and tell them that, whether it doesn't matter whether you come to us as A4S or you come or not, just go back and push this conversation. An organization is only as good as its processes, and ISO 9001 is that standard that allows organizations to get it right. So this is our own philosophy, and we're happy to share this philosophy with you as it is, and we think you should embark upon this. Of course, this is the standard. I'm not going to try to go through the whole standard with you. That is what our dear expert, Mr. Raymond, that is what he's here to do. He will talk about this whole standard in itself. But this is a decent one-pager that breaks the whole standard down. Everything in the standard is written clearly within this one-pager. So this is good. This is very useful. The whole standard is right here on the page. Clause 4, clause 5, clause 6, clause 7, clause 8, clause 9, and clause 10. The whole standard is right here on a single page. And once again, I enjoin all of you to listen attentively and be a part of this. The team would also share with you a free exam. The team would also share with you a free 9001 associate exam or foundation exam. They'll share it with you. You can share it with your friends. You can share with your cousins. You can share with your colleagues at work. You can get on the portal and they can take the ISO 9001 foundation exam, and that will be very useful as it is. So this is the whole standard, and outside of this whole standard, you also now have the core of the standard, which is clause 8. Mr. Raymond is an auditor. He's a trained auditor, so he'll tell you what to look out for. He will mention some of these things. What should you look out for as an auditor? The theme is effective auditing techniques. In reality, that's what our series is. So here, him as a trained, qualified, and experienced auditor will speak to you and tell you This is what you should look out for. This is what you should be looking to do. This is why these things go wrong in different organizations. So he will do that. And if I try to read the entire profile of Mr. Raymond, we'll spend too much time. But just know that he's an expert. He's an expert in this particular area. He's done. He brings to bear his many years of skills, many years of experience, and maturity. When I have a tough audit, the kind of audit whereby I kind of need a a strong professional to drive. Mr. Raymond comes in around in those areas because he's got great experience, he's got qualitative experience, and he's a very thorough person, not just with the work that he does, but also with these report writing, because that's the challenge in a lot of places, right? You might have somebody who is a great auditor, and I've seen that in many places where the person is a great auditor, but a poor report writer. You won't find that with Mr. Raymond here. So Raymond is excellent when it comes to the work that he does. And we're really proud that he's associated to us as an organization, and that he has also agreed to take this particular webinar over the next 1 hour. So everybody, please welcome with me, Mr. Raymond. I can't read all this. I'll bore you with my reading, but just know that he's a trained auditor. He does quality health, safety, environment. He's got a master's degree. He's worked in different industries, and he's certified to all the things that he works on. So please give a round of applause to Mr. Raymond in the chat room, everybody. Mr. Raymond, please, we welcome you here. I'm going to stop sharing my slides. So he will talk about how to boost efficiency and also what you should look out for as an auditor. Thank you very much, Mr. Raymond. Please, a round of applause in the chat room, everybody. Welcome, Mr. Raymond, with me. Welcome, Mr. Raymond, with me. Thank you. Mr. Raymond, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Orlando, for your kind words. Happy New Year to you. We haven't met this year.
Yeah.
I hope very soon I'll be meeting you at some of the engagements. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, our friends in Nigeria and other places. It's nice to be with you this particular morning in Ghana and afternoon in Nigeria. Can you please just share my screen with me? I can see some friends already.
Maureen, okay, so Raymond, sorry, are you going to be sharing yourself, or you want them to share the slides from their end?
Oh no,
which one?
I've asked Oyin to do that for me. So
okay, Oyin, are you able to do that? Okay, Raymond, you're going to welcome a couple of your friends. So please, we'll recognize all the dignitaries. Please go ahead, Raymond. Right, you're going to mention a couple of people.
I can see Ivan. And a couple of others. I think the names are numerous. So I'll just acknowledge everybody. Everybody, thank you for signing on this call. I've had privilege to work with A4S, I think, for the past 3 years. They've engaged me a lot of audits, which I think feedback has been good. And I'm also happy to have done that this afternoon or this morning. I'm here to just speak on how to use ISO 9001 to boost efficiency in an organization, in your organization that you present, in my organization, and everywhere. So I will dwell a little on the ISO 9001, and then I'll move to the auditing aspect. So ISO 9001 basically, please move to the next page. Yes, okay. So it's a quality management, it's a standard for the quality management system. And quality management basically, I always simplify as why business processes are designed to meet the requirement of a customer. And I always tell my clients and everybody that if there is no customer or a client, you have no business to do, or there's no need for you to do a business, because you are there to either offer a product or a service. So if there's a standard that guides you to ensure that you provide the best service to your client to make sure he or she is satisfied, then quality management system is a way to go. So It encompasses all activities and tasks within an organization to ensure that you have a desired level of excellence. I think we all heard Orlando expecting that all organizations should make sure that they subscribe to this QMS, because it is a basic of all things and the most important, because it helps you in process excellence, product excellence, service excellence, reliability, and consistency. This is what the ISO 9000 stands for. Please, I may not be going word by word over here, but I just want to explain the base for what I'm doing here. So we have had 4 families of this standard. I would say currently 2 of them are obsolete, as a 9002 and 9003. They are currently obsolete. They are no more of this, but the 9000, which basically is dealt with the vocabulary and fundamentals, help us to understand some of the text or vocabularies within the ISO 9001 requirement. The 9001 is the standard requirement against which organizations are supposed to be certified to, or they are supposed to be compliant to, because without their compliance, will not get there. And the 9004 also serves as a guideline to make sure that you actually implement this well. Now, ISO 9000 has gone through a lot of revisions from 1987, and now currently we have the 2015 edition. So all my lecture this afternoon will be based on the ISO 9001 2015 standard. Please, we can move on. So the quality management system is based on 7 key principles. As a business, you need to be customer focused, and to focus is just to make sure that the strategies and operations of an organization must be tailored to meeting a customer's requirements. I repeat again, the strategies and operations of an organization must be tailored towards meeting or satisfying a customer. Without this, then your QMS will not be appropriate. So the target here is a customer. Again, leadership, top management must provide that leadership, the vision, the objectives, the policy that guys that show their commitment for the organization to make sure that at least they meet to the barest minimum the requirement of their clients, and at best exceed the expectation. So leadership is key here. We always say in our local the common saying that I will do what I see my bosses doing. So leadership show the vision, and this vision is clearly communicated to everybody in the organization for them to have a buy-in, so that they can also move the organization forward. The people are the center of every business. So these people need to be empowered. They need to be communicated to clearly what they are expected to do. And then they need to be given room for them to also take initiative all towards making sure that the customer is always satisfied. Everything we do in an organization is about process. Processes are set of activities that are involved in producing a particular product. So there's always an input and an output. So these processes and their interactions must be clearly defined and refined, so that at least whatever is due, there's a consistency in our processes, the reliability of the product or service we are offering, so that the client will always keep coming back to you. For sure, the main objective of every management system is improvement. So while serving your client, there's a need for you to be having feedback from the client to know whether you are actually doing what you expected of them, of you, or not, whether they have some complaint. Even if they are complaining, how do you handle it? The aim is that when you solve this problem, there will always be continual improvement in your processes. Evidence-based decision making. You don't just make decision on intuition. You must have data that you can analyze and know that this is the way to go. So evidence-based decision making is to make decisions based on data, based on evidence, not just gestation. You don't just guess what you are supposed to do. And relationship management. Your organization has a lot of stakeholders, both internal and external. It is good to have a mutually beneficial relationship with them, especially our suppliers, because these suppliers keep us in business. If a supplier do not provide the essential ingredient for your production, you are doomed forever. So it's all good to keep this good relationship with these suppliers. We can move to the next slide. So basically, what are the purpose of this ISO 9000 standard? There are three key areas that we look for as an auditor. The first one is how the organization is supposed to meet the requirement of the various clauses within the ISO 9001 2015. And the auditable clauses are from clause 4 to clause 10, which I will be showing the next page. The next thing we look for is the organization's ability to meet all applicable legislative or regulatory requirements. I use the word applicable because it's not all regulations that an organization subscribe to based on the kind of business that you do. There are applicable legislations that you need to subscribe to. We always check whether the organization does have even a legal register and whether they are even compliant to them. And the last one is that for sure the customer is the focus. So in some businesses, customers have contracts with organizations. The contracts have terms and conditions. Are these being met? So sometimes you can have the 9,000 clauses met, you can have your legal register, but within a particular clause in your customer contract or requirements, something is missing there. That is where we have an auditor will have an issue and raise a non-conformity or whatever. So these are three key areas that audits are actually against. We can move to the next slide. I'll come back to the PDCA later. Yes. Good. So these are the various clauses that a summary of the clauses. We have 28 sub-clauses that need to be adequately addressed as part of the quality management system implementation. The clauses range from clause 4 to 10, and I'll briefly speak on each of the sub-clauses. Under clause 4, broadly is the context of the organization. If you talk of a context of an organization, we mean the business environment, factors that affect this business, both externally and internally. So the clause 4.1 actually expect an organization to understand the context of the organization. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? What are the opportunities? What are the threats? You can even do Peso diagram to know what are these factors: political factors, economic factors, sociological factors, technology, legal and environmental factors that affect your operations. You need to identify these things, and then you can address what threat or whatever they pose to you. 4.2 says that understand the needs and expectations of your interested parties. These interested parties are your stakeholders, both internally and externally. Some could be your employee, internal one employee, and a business investor, and all those things. External one could be your regulatory bodies, people, your customers, and others. What are their needs, and what step are you taking to make sure that you meet their expectations? Clause 4.3 talk about the scope of the organization, of the QMS. What is the boundary? Are there any exclusion within your business that you do not want the QMS to affect? You need to clearly state it. And that's the first document that the 9001 2015 expects an organization to have defined clearly the scope of the QMS. The next one, 4.4, talks about quality management system and its processes. over here, an organization is expected to have the process diagram with the various interactions. You may have different departments, technical, marketing, sales, or whatever. What are the various processes there? Which one interact with each other? At the end of the day, you need to manage all these interactions to be able to produce the best service or product for your clients. 5.1, which I always make sure I dwell more on as an auditor, is leadership. The success of every management system depends on the leadership. So the commitment can be shown by a leader by what? One, that takes us to 5.2. Have a well-written quality policy in place. The quality policy must be communicated to every stakeholder, both internal and external. So basically, involve the employee. Let them understand word by word how this policy is. This policy is supposed to be signed on by the top management, either the CEO or COO or whatever, but there must be a commitment shown from the top management that it's what we are committed to do. Then, for sure, you can place it in the front of an organization. Once it is there, it means that other stakeholders, whether external, can see, because once they visit you, they'll see the policy. Then 5.3 talk about the leadership ability to ensure that you have your organogram that defines all the roles and responsibilities in the quality management system. What role do each part, because employees need to be empowered. If I'm assigned a role and authority, I will make sure that at least when I'm doing it, I'll not look back, but I will do what's expected of me. So there must be defined roles and responsibilities. One key clause that was included in this new standard is risk analysis. In the old standard, they were not there. So you need to, with what you consider in 4.1, 4.2, you need to take those threats, those SWOT analysis, the personal diagram, take those things and do risk analysis on them. What are the risks to business? What are the opportunities that are there? Is there any opportunity for business expansion? Sometimes you go to organizations, they even forget about the opportunities. They will list the risk. But risks are uncertainties, and these uncertainties can either result in negative impact on a business or lead to business growth. So that's where your risk and your opportunities are hidden. So we need to have this for sure. It is the standard does not require you to keep a document, but for sure you need to demonstrate it. So therefore, though it's not demanded, you need to be shown, because we need to understand how you're able to carry this risk analysis. One key area is that the organization must define quality objectives and plans to achieve them. So this is why we use the 5 W's and 1 H. Why, who, how. We always say our objectives must be SMART. It must be what? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. These are the things we also look for whenever we are doing audits. Because sometimes you go to organizations, only wish list. We'll do 5% increase in this. But whole time, but whatever, they are not stated. It doesn't make it smart enough. 6.3 talk about your planning to manage changes. No business is static. Changes do take place all the time. So you need to plan and track these changes so that you do not have negative impacts on your business. 7 is support. Provision of resources, be human or financial, equipment, assets, or whatever, they must be provided so that the objective of quality management must be met. You must have competent employee, and this competence could be defined with knowledge, skills, ability, experience, or all these things to be able to implement the system and sustain it. Your stakeholders, both internal and external, need to be aware of the importance of these quality management systems. So you do maybe staff thereby and explain to them, you engage your external stakeholders either by writing to them or engage them, your suppliers and others, engage them in a meeting to explain the impact of their activity on your processes and what you are putting in place to do that. 7.4 talk about communications. How do you communicate? You need to clearly define it. Then 7.5 is keeping documented information. Documented informations are your procedures, your policy, your records. All this must be maintained and retained. So this must be there. Clause 8 talk about operations, thinking and customization of the specific of the organization. So basically, what are the operations? What are the activities involved in the operations? You need to plan this operation clearly, taking into consideration the requirement of the product or services. What does the client want based on the services that you offer? Sometimes some companies just accept anything that clients want. If it's not within your focal business, don't attempt to take it. But once you have taken it, then you must ensure that all the necessary requirements are understood and met. Where there's a need for you to design product or other things, then 8.3 comes in, where you need to do the design, and design goes through some other sub clauses. You need to do the initial design, send to the client for me to accept it. You come back and do the validation, then until you get a final one before you can do your production. In doing your operation, the services of an external provider services, your suppliers, your outsourced services are needed. And these people also bring a lot of risk into your business. So you must demonstrate how you manage them. How do you control them? Do you do audit of them to know just for them to know your requirements, for them to know that these are the expectations of the organization, you know that therefore they must do when they bring the product? Do you also do inspection and all those things? All these are controls to make sure that whatever comes from outside do not bring any negative to your organization. Then you will provide a service or the product to your clients. Then what do you need to do when you do this? And when there are non-conformities or unacceptability of your product, how do you do when it comes to non-conformances, non-conforming product? You might have a plan. Are you going to do sorting? Are you going to destroy it? Even if you're going to destroy it, how do you go about the destruction? All those things, are they have environmental implication? Yes, we are not talking environment here, but once you do that, then your stakeholder comes in, your legal people. How do they talk about when it comes to this destruction of those products? So these are things that you need to look for when it comes to clause 8. Clause 9 is where you do monitoring and evaluation of your services, customer feedback, your internal audits and all those things. So clause 9.1 talking about monitoring, measurement, analysis. If you have some tools that you use, do you do calibration of them and all those things? Do you take customer feedback? What are the KPIs? What are the performance against those KPI? You need to look at that. Then 9.2, you must train internal auditors. If you cannot train, you must outsource internal auditors from an organization like A4S to help you, where they will make sure they will audit your system against the standard. And apart from the standard, against your quality management systems that you have defined, and then against those two other factors I've indicated, the regulatory requirements, and then your customers' expectation. When all these are done, an organization needs to have periodic management review of the system to actually check the objective that they define, the policy that they have put in place, all the things they have done, are we on track or not? So there's always an input to this management review meeting, and there is an output. Maybe for friends who have the system already, over here to most companies try to adopt what they want. The standard is specific. When you take the detail, it talk about the input into your that meeting. Take those inputs one by one and make sure that you discuss those things. It also defines what the possible output are. Take those topics and make sure that you also meet them appropriately. So these are key things. Clause 10 basically talk about improvement, because like I said, the objective of the quality management system is to make sure that there's always continual improvement. So what are the non-conformities? What are the issues that came from clients? What are the corrective actions that you have put in place? Are there something missing? What do we need to do to make sure that we are always improving? So improvement, you can also implement your system over a period and realize that no, we are mature. This ABC are no more critical thing. We can do this, but we can bring this and bring that. These are all opportunities for you to identify improvements and then implement it. Identification alone is not enough, but implementation of these improvement activities are key. So I mentioned earlier that there's a PDCA model. PDCA means a plan, do, check, and act. If you look at that, the clauses 6 and 7, the clauses 6 fall under what they call planning. That's the ability to address your risk and all those things, your objective and other thing. Clause 7 and 8 falls under what you call do. That is where you are actually putting all your plan into action. Clause 9 talks about the checking. If you like, you are doing evaluation, you are doing measurement, you are doing internal audit, you are doing manual review. All these are checking activities where to know whether what you say you are doing, you are on track or not. And the 10 is the acts, that's the improvement. So if you see a PDCA cycle, it's nothing that to frighten you. This is just the key areas, meaning that clause 4 and 5 serve as prerequisite into clause 6. So please take note of that. Can we continue, please? Next slide. So understanding all this, when do you or when to implement ISO? When do you think is the best way to implement ISO? One, like Orlando said, it is something that you must even subscribe to do because it enhances your process and other things. So you may also have a requirement from a client that says that maybe you are doing a tender for a particular job, and they say that you must have an ISO 9000 certification. So it costs for you to do subscribe to this. There are some countries where you need to do business. It is a requirement for you to have the ISO 9001. Again, like I said, you yourself can decide to do it if you want to improve upon your processes. But let's go on. How do we implement it? Like I always say, it is a strategic decision by top management to go for this. So you need to actually define your customer needs and certify them. You need to identify risk and minimize its impact, define objectives and link them to organizational ability to meet customer satisfaction. Needs and expectation of the clients need to be identified. When all these are done, you in a semi way get closer to your certification. But move to the next slide where I'll do a stepwise explanation of this. So next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so basically it goes on the executive and the management to do an overview of business. When there's a need for it, you can call for gap assessment. And yes, some companies want to do their own gap assessment. If you have a trained auditor within, you can do, but it is best done from external sources because there are some areas that you can easily compromise if you want to do it on your own. So it's good to bring in external body, maybe like A4S, to come and do that gap assessment for you against the standard. Then they can guide you how to go about the planning, how the documentation will be done. After documentations are being done, how do we implement? The implementation call for training because people need to understand what actually they are implementing. When these are done, implementation goes on, you need to do internal audit, which I indicated internal assessment and management review. Without an internal audit and management review on any system, no audit to be done. Because this one shows that there's no commitment from. You can define your objective, you can have a policy. But if you don't show that commitment to do your internal audit and management review, there's no need for audit. Because it doesn't show leadership commitment. Then with that, you can invite, when all these are done, you can invite in a third-party registrar, and that's a certification body, where they'll come and do level 1 audit to also check what you have done as a system against the standard. When they finish those ones, then certification audit can be done. Now, when an organization goes for certification, the certificate is valid for 3 years. Meaning that within 3 years, you must do 3 different audits. We have what you call the certification audit, which will give you the certificate, which is a very elaborate audit. Almost all the areas of organization will be looked at. Then you have the period 1, what others call, how do you call it? Surveillance audit. That one, come and do some sampling of your management system and ensure that that is done. It is not on the slide here. Then you do a second surveillance. Then the next one is a recertification audit. So let's look at it. Let's move on, madam. After that, you must make sure that your system is alive. What are the benefits of getting certified? 1, there's a boost in customer retention and acquisition. This focus on customer satisfaction that gives a distinct advantage in the marketplace. Sometimes you don't even need an advert. A satisfied customer will be a referral for more business for you. So it is good if you do provide a consistent and reliable service to your clients, they'll always keep referring you to other people. Enhance efficiency and continual improvement. Once your processes are well aligned and refined, there's a reduced waste of material, money, and even time. The time that it takes to do certain things are minimized. There's lower operational cost. There's improved product delivery system. Again, there's a streamlining of supply chain. Like I indicated in the principle, there's a need for a strong relationship with your supplier, who even if you have not been able to make a payment, can say that, okay, because of the relationship, I'm going to give you the supply for you to do your production. It also reduces costs because 1, the delays are out there and all those things. They give you a competitive advantage over other organizations. Many organizations within both the public and the private prefer to work with companies who are ISO certified. I will always specify that in their requirements. So ISO certification will ensure you meet the requirement and win more work over your competitors. The last one I put there is that ISO certification take you beyond borders. If you're in Ghana or you're in Nigeria and you are ISO certified, you can do business, transfer business with people in US, UK, China, and everywhere because this is an international requirement. It means that whatever you are doing in Nigeria or Ghana is also being done in South Africa, US, UK, Netherlands, and the likes. Let's move on, please. So this brings me to the auditing. So I've just given an overview that an audit is a systematic, independent, and documented process for obtaining audit evidence and evaluating it objectively to determine the extent to which audit criteria are fulfilled. I think any trained auditor should know this definition. So it is systematic. It means that just we're not going to do anything. You need to plan and make sure it is done according to plan. Where checklists are involved, define your checklist and everything. It is independent because you are not involved in the process. The management system, you are not directly involved. Because we always say that you as an auditor cannot manage your own operation, you cannot audit your own operation that you superintend over. So you need a third eye, which is an independent eye, to do this audit. It's a documented process for obtaining audit evidence. That means that you cannot just obtain an audit evidence in a vacuum. You are going to review documents, which are policies, procedures, records, and maybe client complaint or all those things. These are things that you see and evaluate against what the requirements are. The term audit criteria is just the standard requirements, the regulatory and other legislative requirements, and the customers requirements. Sometimes we even said the organization's own management system. These are the areas that we take as a criteria and measure you against. So it's a quality assurance tool that can verify whether the management and technical practices exist, functions properly, and are adequate to meet the organization's goal. Next slide, please. Why do we conduct audits? I give 3 reasons. 1, to verify if the QMS meet the ISO 9001 requirements. To identify areas of concern within your quality management system and develop corrective actions and opportunities for improvement. So that identify the areas are there, maybe the non-conformities, the observations that we made for you to work on. So that's why you have to develop the corrective actions and opportunities for improvement. Let's move on. So there are 3 types of audits. We have the first party, second party, and third party audits. First party audits are basically internal audits where you are a trained auditor, like as a manager more. I have trained internal auditors here. So internal audit are planned for them. They audit internally some departments that they are not working so that they can measure against the standard. So that's the first party audit. Second party audit are a customer auditing a supplier or a potential supplier. Like I indicated, control of externally provided services. You need to put in place measures to make sure that you audit your suppliers or potential suppliers when you are doing a selection or evaluating their performance over time. Is very important. And the third party is an independent organization doing an audit. That is why we have the certification, the surveillance, and all those ones. Let's move to the next slide, please. So as a certification body, you can do all 3 audits, but a first party auditor can only do its own organization or its a supplier. Second party can do both customer and supplier for you. A third party can do all if you engage them. If you engage A4S, A4S can manage all your audits for you, including your supplier selection, all those things. Let's move on, please. Okay, so if there's audit, then you need to have auditors. So there are two standards. The ISO 9001 clause 9.2 defines who an internal audit should be, or an internal auditor should be. Then ISO 9001 defines who an external auditor should be. All this training go through. And at the end of the day, internal auditors must undergo 3 days mandatory audit training to be able to certify it. And they can audit, like I said earlier, they can audit organizations' own QMS and suppliers. External audit training is a 5-day mandatory training followed by external exam conducted by IRCA. These external auditors, like I can undertake any audits. So if an organization engages me, I can do audit for them. But once I have interest in their first and second, it's always good to solve a different eye to get a third party. By rule of thumb, auditors are supposed to be objective, impartial, independent-minded. Like I said earlier on, an auditor cannot audit the process he or she superintend over. Auditor must conduct thorough assessment of the processes, the QMS, and provide feedback in the form of a report. So over here, just to let us know that with that training, the certification, you cannot conduct an audit. You may have an idea, you may have read, you may have done all kinds of things. You need to be certified. Because as an external auditor, I verify the certificates and training record of these internal auditors when I'm doing external audit for an organization. But this is a mandatory requirement. They must be trained. Let's move on. In conducting audit, I summarize a few things here. No audit can take the whole organization, everything. So it's a sampling exercise. But the auditors do the sampling in such a way that all areas of the organization is covered. So it is a sampling exercise. During audit, we gather information. And this can be done through interviews, observations, document reviews, record or data, report on customer feedback, etc. Observations is maybe when you are doing a tour of a factory, and you know this factory tour, you can even do it virtually. Sometimes when you want to do audit, you cannot access it. You can let the team go around. There'll be a live camera where you do your monitoring. When they come back, you can make those observations. Actually, I've done one before. So that is how it is. You need to, because observations are key. Beyond the records and other things, even help you to know whether what the organization said they are doing, it is actually being done on the field. And one key practice is that it's not just always good to just interview the manager or the head of department. You need to also interview those who are in the production floor or at the workshop to know what the leaders are saying. Is it actually existing on the ground? Remember, auditor, you are supposed to do assessment of the management system, and the full implementation is a key here. Auditor reviews information gathered against audit criteria. That's the standard regulatory requirement, the customer requirement, and the organization's own QMS. So when you gather all this, you need to now check. This is what the clause is saying. Is the organization compliant? If not, the clauses say shall or may. whenever there's a shall in the clause, it means that it is mandatory. Is this a clause that the organization is failing against? Sometimes it's a minor one. They go to one place, minor, another place, minor, another place, minor. You come back and do all the three and rather no. If these minors continue, it be an issue. You raise a non-conformity against them for them to work at it so that it doesn't repeat itself again. So there's always a need for you to review this evidence you gathered against the criteria. Please, auditors' focus is always on the management system and the processes and the lies, and not the people involved in the audit. So please let us not look at, let us not personalize the audit. Sometimes auditees behave in many ways. Some auditees are very argumentative. And if you're not careful, you may look at their mannerism and use it to record your audit finding. No, you need to still stay calm, insist on what you are looking for, make sure you get it. If it's not given, you raise your findings. Audit findings are categorized into either major non-conformity, minor non-conformity, observations, and opportunity for improvement. Major non-conformity is when a particular clause, which is a very critical clause, is compromised. That clause could also make sure that it can affect performance of the management system. Something like an internal audit not done. It's a major non-conformity. That means that the whole management system is not on its feet. You can raise a major non-conformity. Minor non-conformity is maybe a particular clause is compromised in a not wholly, but you know that the absence of this could not have marked negative impact on the system. For instance, maybe there's some internal audits were done. Maybe a QA department did all the internal audits, but the QA department itself was not audited. This is a department that's running the show. And then you go to another place, similar thing that's critically also being done, but you know that this may look minor. If you combine all these things, you can raise a minor non-conformity. This judgment should be guided by the standard and not on your emotions. Observations are that there are some minor failures, but this, if not taken care of, in the next audit could also end up being a non-conformity. You need to raise it for the organization to work on it. And then there are opportunities for improvement where you think that you can, it's a suggestion, it's a recommendation, for sure it's not mandatory for them to use, but when taken into this thing can help the organization to improve its operations, it can also be done. When non-conformances are raised, as an auditor, it's your responsibility to follow up to ensure that the auditee or its organization implements a corrective action to ensure issues raised is closed. Sometimes, once you are not part of the organization, you can give a definite time for the organization to get back to you with the corrective action they put in place. Evaluate it to see whether actually what the root cause that they have raised, the corrective action that they are putting in place, will it actually solve the non-conformance raised that it will not repeat itself in the next audit when you make a visit? You need to do this evaluation. If it's not, you get back to them until you are satisfied with the corrective action put in place. And then when there's opportunity for you to go back to that place to do an audit, you need to make sure that this have been closed before you even continue your next audit. Like I said earlier on, audits can be conducted in this current era, either on-site or virtually. Because if you're in Ghana here and maybe you have an organization within Nigeria and you don't have the opportunity to travel there, you can still do your audit here. Just make sure that you do a thorough audit. Again, I will just say that auditing a management system helps the system to improve and stand on its feet. Auditing is not a policing activity. The aim of audit is to make sure that there's system improvements. As an auditor, you don't need to be too much of a talker, but rather a larger listener, so that at least you can listen and deduce and make your judgment. You don't have to be argumentative. I think I'll end here. When questions come, we'll take it from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Raymond. Thank you, sir. Please, let's start dropping our questions. We already have some. I'll present that shortly, sir. Please, you can drop your questions in the chat room. Okay, so I have the questions now. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see, please.
Okay, so for a Q&A session, please feel free to drop your questions.
Okay, so can I start and answer the questions?
So these are some of the questions. Someone
okay,
asked, how can one join
IFOS as an auditor? Okay, I think Ivan asked that question. Ivan, I think we spoke last week. I will liaise with Orlando and do a
Orlando and Larry. Let's just speak to Larry. Larry's based in Accra.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, right, we're always looking to hire auditors, so that's fine. We're always looking for competent auditors. So get my details, get Larry's details. We're happy to speak to you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, somebody says, why is ISO 9000 important for organization? One, it helps improve your processes, leading to improve customer satisfaction. Like I said earlier on, it helps you cut down costs, because if your processes are not well streamlined, there are a lot of delays, and this also leads to delay customer delivery. All this end up being cost. It helps your organization to be able to get more businesses. Like I indicated earlier, my organization that I work with, we do not do adverts. We have never done advert. The only thing we do is to update our social media platform with the work that we are doing. Our clients keep on referring other organizations to us that if you need this kind of service, you can go here. Sometimes we have a call that we're asked to come and see you because you're able to do this. We have this. How can you help us? So if you have a streamlined process where you are providing reliable and consistent service, everybody will be happy with you. Even if you have an issue with a client, the speed with which you're able to solve that problem, make the customer feel that you are there for him or her. It keeps you to making a lot of business. So it's very important. It helps streamline your process, customer satisfaction enhancement. They have competitive advantage in the industry against your peers. So it is very important. Can ISO 9000 verification be integrated with other managers? Yes. My organization have already integrated 9001, 45,001, and 14,001. It is easy because all the high level, high structure courses are the same. It's only a few manual ones. So it is easy. The 2015 standard is even easier now to integrate with other standard. When it was OSHA's 18,001, the old versions, it was very difficult, even though we did. But it became even easier when we have all the of all this as a current standard. So it is very, very possible. What's the difference between ISO 9000 and 2008? Okay, the 2008 is now an obsolete standard. It is no more in the system. The 2015 is a revised version of the 2008, where they have incorporated the PDCA processes, risk management, where there's no more preventive action in this one. Though 2008 had prevention and corrective action and all those things. So these are there. So the 2008 is no more in the system, and no organization will even certify you to 2008. How does ISO help in enhancing customer satisfaction? Okay, like I said with the question 2, you have enhanced processes. You take customer feedback and know whether they are satisfied or not. If there are complaints, you have a complaint handling procedure that help those things. Once your clients is always happy, you see that even if there's a problem, you are ready to solve it. The customer will be satisfied all the time. They'll be ready to give you more business. Is ISO 9000 certification mandatory for all businesses? Certification is not mandatory, but you yourself one day will know that you need it. You can go through the process, have all the documentation in place, but if you are going for a tender, you have the documentation in place and everything, and your competitor has a certificate, that person will get a business you not get. So that is it. Thank you. Hello.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for answering those questions. I think those are all the questions that we currently have. I'm checking the chat room now.
Yeah, those are all the questions. If you have more questions, you can take them.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you very much for this, Raymond. I'm sure this has been very good. I'm sure everybody has enjoyed this session. Thank you very much for your time. We will get back to everybody. We will send you 2 things or 3 things. The team will send you 3 things. Abigail, please, can you show your face? You and Onyeko, especially both of you. We'll get back to you with 3 things. Number 1, we'll send you an email. Well, actually, the 3 of them will be in one email. One will send you the recording on YouTube, so we'll share the link. We'll also send you the audit checklist, which is where you'll find useful. We'll also then send you a link for 9001 Foundation, which you can take as a free exam. So we'll send you those 3 things, and I'm certain that you will get value from them. So once again, thank you very much for your time. There's a feedback form. The team will share it. Hey, look at them. You see, everybody, please clap for both of them. See, those are the angels, the beautiful angels of A4S. And we're grateful. So we're grateful for both of them and the amount of time. So please give them a round of applause. Let me greet these 2 beautiful ladies, please.
I can't say. I can only see their faces hidden.
No, so we can't see your face. So please give them a round of applause. Both of them are my internal auditors, and they're the ones who are putting all the work setting this particular event up. So thank you very much to both of you, Abigail and Oyin, for doing all this. They've also been liaising with Raymond to ensure that this whole session has gone very well. So thank you, big thank you. So please follow us on social media. Maureen, do you want to share some of those things? The link on social media, feedback forms, and we'll be able to get back to everybody because you're all registered for this. So Raymond, we cannot thank you enough for this, for doing this and sharing your thoughts, sharing your experience, and bringing all your capabilities to bear on this particular call. Thank you very much. Next month, I believe we're going to be doing something on ISO 20000. which is service management system, though its application is usually more in IT, but it's not just tied to IT. It's actually for different areas where you provide services. However, most people use it primarily when it comes to IT because there are many areas in that whole standard that are very much IT related. So it's also tied to ITIL, something called ITIL. So next month, we're going to be doing ISO 20,000, and I'm sure it's going to be interesting, and a lot of people will get a lot of value from it. So once again, thank you very much for being a part of this session. It's great to have you all here. Please we do, I mean, the team, they're always putting out stuff all the time on social media, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. They're very active, so you can follow us and you'll be able to see a lot of things, and you also get the opportunity to be able to network and meet experts like Raymond here as it is, and to further build your career in different areas. But our auditing techniques will be every month. Every month we're going to be doing something on auditing techniques as it is. We're going to do 20,000 next month, and I'm sure you'd also get a lot of value from it. Thank you very much, everyone. We appreciate your time. Please go to the chat room, fill the feedback form, and we look forward to seeing you next month. The audience will even be bigger next month as we get on top of this. Thank you very much, everyone. Once again, God bless you. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right.
Thank you. So before we close the session, we have one more question in the chat room.
Okay.
Yeah,
Everyone is here. He's here. Go ahead. Okay. So, do you want to read the question out so that he can address it?
So Nia said, I have a question regarding the difference between quality statement and quality policy. I was in a 9001 audit recently, and the auditor asked for quality policy in the website, but the client produced quality statement in the About Us. My question is that acceptable, or a Microsoft Word document containing a quality policy to be website?
Okay. You want to handle as you handle it?
You know, okay. I mean, you would also share your thoughts, Raymond. But you see, one, so it's like you know, I put the profile of Raymond up at the beginning, right? So this says, oh, he's done this. He put his experience, he put his qualifications, he even put his educational things and all that. That is like his policy, so to speak. But you know, another thing for us to have done is to just put a two-liner to say Mr. Raymond is an expert when it comes to quality, health, and safety, and he's been supporting a lot of organizations. That's like a statement. Now, that statement does not, it's okay. I mean, it says something about Raymond, but it doesn't speak about Raymond like the way we put that whole page up. That's the same thing. Your statement, which is really something for your certificate, really. That's why that statement exists. So that, you know, your certificate will carry some kind of statement or scope statement or something along those lines. But somebody who wants to work with you, an international organization that wants to check out your posture, right, via your website, they're not going to be satisfied with a one-liner, a sentence or two sentences. That doesn't speak to it. They need to kind of see the whole policy, and it shouldn't be Microsoft Word because it shouldn't be something that is editable. It should be in PDF. They want to see that, you know what, our organization is committed to doing this. We have decided to do this. They want to see a full-blown policy signed by executive management. That is what will give them the kind of comfort that they need, not just a statement, so to speak. So that's what it is that I'll say. Raymond, please, please share your thoughts.
Okay. All I just have to add is that when I look at that, there are some key elements I always look for in a policy. Your commitment to the quality management system and customer satisfaction, your commitment to meet applicable regulatory and so. There's a statement show that you are committed to continual improvements. Like Orlando said, it must also be signed by the top management. These four key areas, if they are not there, it means that It's just a statement they make. And, you know, there's some, it's a funny thing, but you need to also know what the policy is and evaluate that document well. Even when something is missing, let them know that they need to input this. So I don't know how the statements sound like, but these are the areas.
Yeah. So look at this. I mean, this is what I look at. This is Coca-Cola, right? Everybody, can you see my screen? Right. So Coca-Cola could have also just put, you know, so Coca-Cola could have stopped with this first paragraph. Am I right? And Coca-Cola will believe blah blah blah, and they end there. Right? That's like a statement.
Yeah.
They could have stopped there. But look at it. This is what Coca-Cola has put up. This is our quality and food safety policy.
Yeah.
And then they write, we're committed. So listen to everything that Raymond just mentioned. We're committed to this. All Coca-Cola operations are committed to this. We believe that the responsibility for achieving this lies with the employee. The following principles have been adopted. Then they've talked about all the principles that they've adopted. And at the end of the day, look at it, they even put their CEO. I am, as a person, do you get, like, as in my role as the CEO of this organization, I stand by this. And then they then put, look at it, to even add more to it, to look at the bottom. They even say, if you want to download it, go ahead and download it. They put the PDF version there. So yeah, so that's the key thing. Well, that's a brilliant question. I thank you very much for bringing up that question as it is, because yeah, my statement is not as convincing and doesn't give the kind of comfort that your entire policy. And the policy is usually not a secretive document, because sometimes that's what some organizations do. They put a policy out that, like, oh, you know, the policy is a secret. The policy is not a secret. Look at, that's Coca-Cola. If you go ahead and check all international organizations, because the requirement that is communicated to the external stakeholders. Nobody is going to hack your organization because of that policy. You haven't given up. You haven't even talked about that. Oh, we use SAP, or this is our IP address, or you haven't put any of those confidential things. But you're giving a broad statement that talks about your commitment to this whole thing. And Raymond already mentioned some of those things. I hope that's clear. Good. All right. Once again, thank you very much, everybody. The feedback form is in the chat room, please. Abdul, thank you very much. Abdul is on the board. Who put you on the board of A4S, so to speak? So thank you. We just don't want to anger your existing employer. But Abdul, thank you very much for being here and your comments. Everybody in the chat room, the links are there, and please follow us on all our social media platforms. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you. God bless you. Raymond, once again, thank you. We really appreciate it. We don't take this for granted. And everybody that has left their lunch time to be here today. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. See you. All right. If you don't mind, you can switch on your cameras. Let's take a picture together. Raymond, quickly, everybody. Quickly. Let's take a picture together. All the beautiful and the handsome people that are on the call. So I've got Raymond. Who else is there? Who else is there? Thank you very much. Wisdom, Richard, thank you very much. Who else is there? Let's take a picture together. That's the beautiful Maureen. She's our overall boss. She's the one that she's our managing, our newly appointed managing partner, as it is. That's Maureen. That's Abdul there. That is our other Oga at the top, Balaji. We all have to listen to him when he says jump. We jump. We ask how high. Abigail, we can't see your full face. We only see half of your face. Please, let us appreciate God's work in your life, on your face. Right. Good. Where are the others? Where is Isaac Williams, Obed, Edith, Cracker, Kwame, Dela, Isaac, everybody, please quickly. They're going to do this very quickly. We appreciate it. We're going to be out of here in the next 1 minute. 1 minute, because we know that people have many things that they need to do. We'll be out of here in 1 minute from now. Look at beautiful Edith. That's the other person. I mean, the beautiful ones have been born. They need to rewrite that book. They said the beautiful ones have not been born, but Edith is here. Oyi is here. Maureen. Obviously, the beautiful ones have been born. All right, as it is. Isaac, thank you very much for coming up. As it is. All right. So I think I don't know who else is coming up. Is Della coming up? Ophelia, Kwame. Everybody, right? Quickly, right, quickly. It'd be nice to see your face so that in this modern day, so that when you're passing by with your big Abdul is passing by with his big jeep, or that big jeep that Raymond drives, it won't splash water on your body because it's only as part of the cost in itself, right? So that's why we tell people to switch on their cameras so that at least the likes of Abdullah Raymond and their big vehicles, they can at least show that, dude, we're on the call together. Have mercy. Have mercy on me as it is. So once again, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. See you next time. Thank you. Cheers. All right. Thank you. All right. Cheers. All right.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Uh